Hello my dear students, welcome to the class 11th English medium. The subject is statistics, chapter 2, presentation of data, brought to you by Vitan sir. Now, in the today's tutorial, what I am going to do is I will be giving you questions. Then I will be guiding you towards how to answer them. But you will be answering them on your own. And then I will be just giving you the direct answers. I will not explain you, I will not go through the answers step by step. Rather, I will guide you how to find the answer, then you will be finding the answer, then you will have to check whether your answers are correct or not with the direct answers which I will be giving in the tutorial itself. Okay, so let us start with beginning. Illustration 13, the daily record of sales of electronic equipments sold by a shopkeeper of electronic items during the month of April is as under. Prepare an exclusive, give the words very important, exclusive continuous frequency distribution for which one of the classes is 60 to 70. Okay, the point here is one of the classes 60 to 70. That means our classes will be like 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, etc. classes we will be using. Find the number of days during which the sales of equipment is maximum. State the number of equipments sold for the maximum number of days. Okay, before we answer these two questions, we have to check out the following data and we have to prepare the distribution first. Okay, what we are going to do, we are going to find out the minimum value here, which is 34. So the class which includes 34 will be 30 to 40. So we will be starting with the class 30 to 40. The maximum observation here is 88, which will be included in the class 80 to 90, because one of the class is 60 to 70. We can only prepare class which are similar to that. So our beginning class will be 30 to 40, then 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, and then last 80 to 90. What I want you guys to do is now pause this video and tally mark all these answers in your notebook, okay, and find the frequency distribution. Once you are done with that, resume the video, so I will show you the exact answer which you will be getting. Okay, now this is the answer which you should have got. 30 to 40 is 4, 40 to 50 is 5, 50 to 60 is 8, 60 to 70 is 4, 70 to 80 is 3, and 80 to 90 is 6. Okay, now there were two questions, 1 and 2. The first question was the maximum number of equipment sold and the number of days for that. Now the maximum number of equipments means in the column of number of equipment sold, maximum are 80 to 90 and the number of days for that is 6. So the answer is for 80 to 90 there are 6 such days. Second question was the number of equipment sold for the maximum number of days. Okay, the maximum number of days is number 8 and equipment sold for that are 50 to 60. So 50 to 60 equipments are sold on maximum 8 days and maximum equipments 80 to 90 are sold for 6 days. So this is how you answer this particular question. Next is illustration 14. Out of 300 persons residing in a region, a sample of 30 persons is selected at random and the heights in centimeter of these selected persons are as under. Okay, following are the many questions which we will be required to answer. The first, distribute this data into 6 classes and also find the mid value of each class. Okay, the first question is actually preparing a continuous frequency distribution. Okay, and we have to find the mid value. Second is less than type cumulative. Third is percentage of persons having height less than 155 centimeter. Okay, so that depends on the second question. Fourth is preparing more than type, and fifth is persons having height between 147 to 157 centimeter. Okay, we will go on question wise. First we have to prepare a distribution with 6 classes and find the mid value of each class. How we are going to proceed with that? First, range of the data we have to find. We know that minimum value is 141, the maximum value is 168. So that means the range of the data is 27 and we know that number of classes to be prepared is 6. So to find the class length, 27 divided by 6 will be 4.5, that is round figure 5. So our class intervals will be 5. Now what you need to do, you have to rewind this video a bit, go to your data, okay, and we know that our class length is 5, so the beginning value is 141, so we can start our class from 140 to 145, 145 to 150, 150 to 160, 155, and so on up to 170. Okay, so that is how you are going to prepare your classes, and then using the data in the uh, previous slide which I just showed with the data, you telemark the data. After telemarking, find the frequency and then again resume the video here. So I will show you the answer, that is this: an exclusive continuous frequency distribution of height of 30 persons selected at random from a group of 300 persons. Height, exclusive classes, the height, as I told you, the classes were 140 to 145, and then 150, then 155, then 160, then 165, so on. After telemarking, check whether you got these answers or not. 288462. We were also supposed to calculate the mid values of each classes. We calculate mid value using the two boundary points addition and then divide by 2. So 140 plus 145 divided by 2 is 142.5, and so on. You will get mid values for all the classes. Now this was the question number 1. The second question was calculating the less than type cumulative frequency distribution. So less than type cumulative frequency distribution of heights of 30 persons selected at random from a group of 300 persons is as under. Here again you have to create that CF classes, as I have already taught you. We will start with 140, then we will take 145. We have to write down less than upper boundary point as the title. 140, 145, 150, 155, the single values will be written. The first CF for less than 140 will be 0. Then we have to gradually add up all the frequencies one by one to get the total frequency in the last less than 170. If you are done with that, then check your answer here. Upper boundary point, that is less than upper boundary point, 140, 145, 150, etc. Less than type CF, first one is 0, then we add 2, then add 8, then add again 8, then add 4, 6 and 2. So gradually you will get all these frequencies here. That is the answer for second question. Now the third question was the percentage of people with height less than 155 centimeter. Now the question is percentage. Okay. Now if you check out here, the people with height less than 155 are 18. You see the 155, the frequency in front of 155 is 18, and the total number of people are 30. Total number of people are 30 and the people with height less than 155 are 18. That means that we have to calculate the percentage for those 18. So it is 18 upon 30 multiplied by 100, 60. So the percentage of persons with height less than 155 centimeter are 60%. So that is your answer. You could be asked other questions also. People with height less than 140 centimeter, people with height less than 165 centimeter. Each and every time you have to follow the same method. The next question was calculating for the more than type cumulative frequency distribution. The title you will be given here is lower boundary point more than height. You will be starting with the same thing, 140, 145, 150, 155. But the frequency in front of 140, you will make a total of all the frequencies. Then you will drop the first frequency and write down the total. Then you will drop the second frequency and again write down the total, and so on. Now if you have paused the video and completed writing down your answer, then resume this video and I will give you the answer which you will be checking with your sum. Okay, if you have done something like this in your notebook, then yes, you are correct. If there is some mistake, then just check what was your mistake on the screen. Okay, the next question was people between the frequencies 147 and 157, I suppose. Yes, to determine the number of persons having height 147 to 157 centimeter. Okay, now the original frequency which you have calculated, okay, not less than or more than, but the original frequency distribution which you have calculated, you will see that 147 is between 145 to 150, 157 is between 155 to 160. Now these are not exact boundary points, they are given somewhere between. So what we need to do, that 147 is included in the class 145 to 150. Now the frequency of this class is 8. Okay, the class length is 5 and the frequency is 8. So what should we do when we have to take 147 to 150? So at that time the class length will be 3. Okay, when 145 to 150 is there, the class length is 5, the frequency is 8. So if we take 147, the class length will be 3. So the frequency for the same will be 3 upon 5 multiplied by 8, 4.8. Okay, so 147 to 150 is 4.8. 150 to 155 is already 8, that we know, and there is no problem in that. And next, 155 to 157, same thing we have to do. 155 to 160 is class length 5, frequency 4. So 155 to 157, the class length is 2. Then frequency will be 2 upon 5 into 4, 1.6. So we need to make a total of 4.8, 8 and 1.6. That we will get 14.4, and on an average, that approximately the answer is 14. Okay. Now, if you do this directly in the raw data, you will get the answer 15, and if we are using the frequency distribution, we are getting the answer 14. The reason is that in the frequency distribution, we create an average of the values. So due to that, one or two values might change, but we are following the same method here. You need to understand that whenever boundary point between two upper boundary and lower boundary is given, we need to find an average, just like what we did in this sum. Let us take one more sum. Changes in prices of shares during a day of 40 different companies registered at Bombay Stock Exchange are as follows. Find an inclusive continuous frequency distribution having mid value -1 for one of the classes and regular class length as 5. Okay, now as you can see here, some positive and some negative values are given. Okay, so when we talk about the minimum value, you will see that that is -11, and when we talk about the maximum value, you will see that it is 22. Okay, so minimum value is -11, the maximum value is 22. Now we need to create a classes which has a class length 5, and one of the class has a mid value -1. What we are going to do, we are going to find the class for which the mid value is -1. Okay, the mid value -1, the class length 5. We know that calculating upper boundary point and lower boundary point from the given mid value needs this formula, that is mid value minus half of the class length. So -1 minus half of 5 is -3.5. Similarly, the upper limit will be mid value plus half of the class length, that is -1 plus 2.5, that is 1.5. So the class which you will get is an exclusive class. But once again, if you check out the question, we have to find an inclusive continuous frequency distribution. To convert an exclusive class into inclusive class, we add 0.5 in the beginning and subtract 0.5 from the end. So that means -3.5 plus 0.5 to 1.5 minus 0.5 will get you -3 to 1. So one of the classes which you are going to make is -3 to 1. Okay, the class length is 5 and the classes is -3 to 1. So next class will be naturally 2 to 5. After that will be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Similarly, you will move forward with the next classes. Okay, sorry, -3 to 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 to 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 7 to 11. If we are talking about classes before -3, because our minimum value is -11, so we have to include -11 into classes. So before -3 will be -4, -5, -6, -7, -8. Okay, so -8 to -4. Before that, -9, -10, 11, 12, 13. So -13 to -9. Okay, so the first class will be -13 to -9, and gradually we will move forward. These are the inclusive classes. So whenever you end with a value, you have to start with the next value. That is, when you end from -3 to 1, the next class should start from 2. Then when you end at 7, next class should start from 8, and so on. Okay, so once you are done by making these classes, you have to put all this data according to tally marks in the frequency distribution and find the frequency. Once again, I will just speak out the classes which you are going to make. Negative 13 to negative 9, negative 8 to negative 4, negative 3 to 1, 2 to 6, and sorry, 2 to 7. My mistake. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 to 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 7 to 11, then 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 12 to 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So up to 21, and then 22, 23, 24, and 25. So up to 25 you will need to make the classes. They will look something like this. An inclusive continuous frequency distribution of change in price of shares of 40 companies, negative 13 to negative 9. Now this is an inclusive class, so 13 is included and 9 is also included. You have to check out the vertical differences here. 13 to 8, 5 difference, 8 to 3 again 5 difference, 3 to 2, negative 3 to 2, so 5, 2 to 7, 5, 7 to 12, 5, 12 to 17, 5, and 17 to 22, 5. Okay, but they will not end at the same value, they will end at one value previously. So 17 to 22 is the actual class, but this is inclusive, so 17 to 21. Then 22 to 27 should be the actual class, but this is inclusive, so 22 to 26 will be the class. So after preparing classes like this, you have to put the tally marks properly, and once you are done with the tally marks, write down the frequency, and with this your sum will be over. Okay, with this I end this tutorial here. Next time I will come up with the next method, that is the tabulation, but we will discuss that later on. Till then, stay tuned, stay home, and stay safe.